Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the third quarter 2021 Ohio CERT webinar. This webinar should take about 1 hour. I trust that everyone is familiar with the safety procedures at your own location, so please exercise those as needed. For today's presentation, we have a solid lineup. Just want to remind everyone, first of all, that the webinar will be available to view on the Ohio CERT website. It will be at this address off of the ema.ohio.gov webpage. Next webinar is slated for Monday, the 4th of October at 6 p.m. As we do with these webinars, we alternate them, one during the daytime and one during the evening, so that we can hit both the program managers and EMA employees, as well as average regular day-to-day CERT volunteers throughout Ohio. Today's agenda is pretty straightforward. We are going to hit on the Serve Ohio platform. Rebecca will be giving us about a half-hour overview on what that Get Connected volunteer management platform looks like and how you guys will be able to use it. I'm going to go through some prepared comments hitting on the 2019 curriculum update and expectations. With that, going to talk briefly on a couple of FEMA initiatives, and then we will hit on the National CERT Association updates for this quarter. At that point, I will turn off the recording and we'll open it up to all of yins, so that if you have any Q&A, if you have any best practices you'd like to share, we can get into them. So with that, we will start off with Rebecca's presentation. I will stop screen share, and Rebecca, feel free to jump in.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And hopefully you all can see that. Somebody just say no.
Yes,
if
it
you
is.
can. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Josh, for inviting me to this webinar, and thank you all for having me. My name is Rebecca Vierhoff-Kiss, and I'm the Director of Strategic Engagement at Serve Ohio, which is Ohio's Commission on Service and Volunteerism. And Serve Ohio, we administer the AmeriCorps program throughout the state of Ohio, and we also provide resources for volunteer management across the state. So today I'm going to be showing you a preview of Get Connected, which is Ohio's statewide volunteer management platform. Serve Ohio will be partnering with Ohio EMA to provide this platform to EMAs across the state to manage CERT volunteers and the local communities. So today's presentation is a high-level overview of Get Connected. Hopefully this isn't news to anybody that there is this new platform coming. But today really is just kind of a high-level overview about how the site will be organized and a few other kind of troubleshooting information. And then we'll provide more kind of direct training, you know, as we kind of move on later part of the year and maybe early next year. So if you have questions, you can put them in the chat and then we'll address them at the end. So the website, the site to get connected is serveohio.galaxydigital.com. I know that's kind of a clunky way to get to it, but that's what the kind of the URL is. You can also easily connect to this site through Serve Ohio's website, which is serveohio.org. So when you get connected, this is what the site looks like. All CERT volunteers will need to create accounts in this system, and I'll show you how they'll do that here in just a minute. But the CERT programs, all CERT volunteer opportunities across the state will be grouped together under an initiative. And what an initiative allows us to do is to put like volunteer opportunities together in one place so that anybody interested in those like volunteer opportunities have one link that they can click on and then search. So I'm going to show you an example of an initiative We're working on the CERT initiative right now. It's not completely up yet. So I'm going to show you a different initiative and show you the functionality of how the CERT volunteer opportunities will look. So that initiative is AmeriCorps opportunities. So we fund AmeriCorps programs across the state, and we require all of those AmeriCorps programs to put their AmeriCorps opportunities on Get Connected. So this will be a really good example. So we have it right here on our homepage. If you're looking for AmeriCorps opportunities, click here. There will be something similar to this on the homepage for CERT. So we click there. You'll see that there's just kind of a general blurb about AmeriCorps here so that folks know if they're looking for AmeriCorps, they're in the right place. And there will be a similar kind of general overview about CERT on the CERT initiative page. We scroll down and we can see there is a long list of all of the different opportunities to join AmeriCorps across the state of Ohio. There's lots of pages here, and they are not filtered in any particular way. I think the default is the newest or most updated volunteer opportunity is listed on top. So of course, being a statewide program, volunteers when they come in will need to filter these and search based on where they live. So they can do that either by county or they can do it by distance. Distance, you would just say 25 miles from a given zip code, or county will list every volunteer opportunity in that county. So let's go here to the county search, and we will select, let's select Franklin just because I know there's going to be a lot there, and we'll search. And you'll see it has very much reduced the number of opportunities here. So now that I know all of the different opportunities that are available in Franklin County, then I can kind of go through and see what might meet my interest. So I'll go to this veteran liaison with Ohio Suicide Prevention because that looks interesting to me. I can either click here or I can view the details. It takes me to the same place. Again, I'm still under this umbrella so that I know that I'm still looking at Ohio AmeriCorps opportunities. And again, this will say something about CERT. And if I scroll down, this is a very robust position description about the veteran liaison opportunity with the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation. So me as a potential volunteer, I'll look at this and really kind of think about whether this is something that I want to get involved in. We recommend being very robust in terms of what you put as a position description for the volunteer opportunities. And that way volunteers can really make an informed decision on whether they're interested or not. So you can see there's a lot of information here about this opportunity. They put in a few additional details here so that, it's things that kind of jump off the page that you really want the potential volunteer to know. So if I'm interested in this, I can respond. So down here, there's a button that says respond that I can click. And of course, if I actually want to respond, I'll need to sign up and create an account, or I can log in using my existing volunteer account. I'll show you that in a second. You can kind of scroll up to the top of the page and hit respond up here. So there's two ways that a volunteer can respond and say, yes, I'm interested. As a volunteer, if I respond, then the site supervisor or the volunteer coordinator who is listed here will get an email that says, Rebecca Vierhoff-Kiss is interested in your veteran liaison volunteer opportunity. Please connect with Rebecca to give her more information about how to become a volunteer. So this is just an entry point for potential new volunteers. And there's some really great management on the back end for all of your current volunteers. If I, as a volunteer, wanted to get more information about the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation, which is who is hosting this volunteer opportunity, or if I want to see what other types of volunteer opportunities are available, I can click this organization link here. And this will take me to the organization page that has more information about the organization overall. So this would be something about your EMA or about your CERT program, however it is that you decide to put this. But this would be overall for your organization. So you can see they have all kinds of information about who they are and what they do. There's contact information over here if I wanted to get in touch directly. And then you can see this is a section that says organization opportunities. They only have one listed, but if you have, 5, 6, 10 different opportunities, they'll all be listed here. So a potential volunteer, if they're interested in your organization, they can pick and choose what types of volunteer opportunities that they're interested in. Likewise, you will be able to kind of showcase different opportunities for your current CERT volunteers. So this link, you can just kind of copy and paste and send to your current volunteers and say, hey, here's some volunteer opportunities that are currently available for CERT volunteers, and you can register there. Likewise, on the actual individual opportunity page, let's go back to that veteran liaison page. This is a unique link too. If you send this link, say, hey, we're looking for volunteers right now, click here to register. This link will take the volunteer directly to this page, and they can respond and sign up to volunteer for whatever volunteer opportunity you currently have for them. So hopefully that is clear. Again, if you have questions, put them in the chat, and Josh, if there's something urgent, let me know. Otherwise, we'll get to them at the end. So let me log in and show you kind of the back end of the system, what you will see as an agency coordinator. And you'll log in, sorry, I'm just doing this. You'll log in up here. So this blue login button at the top, that's where you will log in to your page. That's also where a volunteer will log into the page too, but it will know that you are an opportunity, an agency coordinator when you log in. So you log in, and this is what you'll see. This is your agency page. Several of you I know have already created agency accounts, and I can definitely go through and show you how to do an agency account after this if you're interested. But this is what you'll see when you log in. This is all the information that you create when you create an agency on Get Connected. And you can update that at any time that anything changes, or that you want to make updates, you get new staff, anything like that. You can change that at any time. Up here is kind of your dashboard. So if you go to this view page, that'll just take you to what your agency page looks like on the front end. So if you make updates and you kind of want to see what it looks like, that's an easy way to get to what it looks like to the general public. If we go to these opportunities tab, you can see every volunteer opportunity that you currently have listed in Get Connected. And from here, you can edit the opportunity if you need to make edits to it. You can view the opportunity. That'll take you, again, to the front end so you can see what volunteers see when they click on the volunteer opportunity. And then you can see responses. This is anybody who has ever signed up for this volunteer opportunity. So if you had just a regular ongoing become a CERT volunteer, when you click this, you will see every person who has ever signed up to become a CERT volunteer with your program. Now, for this one, there's only one. It's me. This is kind of a test site, right? So I'm the only volunteer. Only one person has signed up for this particular opportunity. But certainly in your case, you would have a lot more folks listed here. And then you can filter this table. If I wanted to include their email, I can do that. If I wanted to include, for whatever reason, their age, I can do that. Just as adult here. All of these different things you can kind of add to this table so that it gives you a really robust listing of folks. And then let's say you have, 150 volunteers, then you can kind of decide how many you want to see at one time. And then from here, you can message them all at once. So if I want to message them, I have to select who I want to message. And if I kind of move on, then it will take me through the process to message all of my volunteers if I select all of them, or just specific ones right through the site. And then here, if I wanted to kind of add hours to these folks, one of the great things about this system is you can track their hours through the system. And there's lots of different places where you can do that. But a place here you can do that. If I wanted to add hours to this volunteer, Rebecca, I could just add default hours here. And it will take me kind of through the process of adding their hours. But you'll see that there's lots of different places where you can kind of add their hours to make sure that their hours are up to date and for their purposes, and also for your purposes, so you can track how many hours that CERT volunteers have served with your program. So that's that. That's the opportunities. Stats is another place where you can kind of get a lot of information. Again, you can, when you come here, this will list all of the volunteers who have either signed up or served hours with your program, and you can filter the date range. So if I wanted to say in the past year, I want to see, then I would change that to 6/20. And I think I might have to change the date. I think it can only do a year. Nope, yep, it did it. So then from here, in the past year, these are all of the volunteers who have signed up and or served hours with the program. So again, it's an easy place to just kind of pull out all of the information here. And I can filter this if I wanted to add, you know, their additional information about all of these folks. I can kind of have different information displayed that might meet my needs. And then if I wanted to export these into a document that I can kind of manipulate on my own, I think you can choose an Excel document, and there's a few other choices. I would just click this export response button here, and then that will generate a spreadsheet for me to kind of manipulate on my own. And then again, you can click here and you can add default hours to anybody. If, let's say, Jane Smith didn't served hours and I forgot to confirm that, I can add default hours for Jane Smith there. There's also a few sub tabs here. So again, if I go to, I had clicked Jane Smith, if I go to hours, then I can see specific hours just for Jane Smith. And I can see that Jane Smith has served a total of 13 hours here. And again, I can export this by the individual volunteer if I want to, so that I can know if Jane Smith really, you know, needs some information about their volunteer opportunities, I can export that on an individual basis. Okay, hopefully I'm not getting too in the weeds here, Josh, but I just want to kind of show a general overview of the functionality of the system. Schedule, if you have volunteer opportunities that happen on a specific date and time. So let's say you can use this for training too. It doesn't just have to be volunteer opportunities. So let's say you're having a training and your volunteers sign up for a training. Then that, if it's date and time specific, that will show up on this page. And sorry, I don't have an example of it here. I don't have any current ones in there, but let's say I had a training or a volunteer opportunity set up for July the 17th here. Well, it would be listed here as a hyperlink, and I could click on that hyperlink, and then it would show me all of the volunteers who are currently signed up for that training or that volunteer opportunity. So it's an easy way for me to just easily track signups for events that I'm having. Time tracking, this is another place, again, where you can add hours. Volunteers on their end, they have a volunteer portal that they can look through, and they can create their own volunteer transcript on their account. And let's say I have served hours as a volunteer, and my CERT coordinator has not approved those hours yet. I can kind of, from my account, say, hey, Josh, I need you to approve these hours. These are not approved yet. And if I do that as a volunteer, it will show up here as a pending hour entry for the CERT coordinator to go ahead and confirm those hours. So there's functionality on the volunteer side to say, hey, approve my hours, and there's functionality on your side to just go ahead and approve those hours. So I can select a volunteer opportunity here, AmeriCorps peer reviewer. I can select the volunteer who actually has served. You can see here that I've already logged hours for this particular volunteer, but if I wanted to add more hours, I can add more hours on this side, the date that I actually served, how many hours I served. If you wanted to put in the miles traveled, let's say you are doing mileage reimbursement for some reason, or you just want to track how far folks are traveling. Maybe there is a disaster and you want to know if people are traveling from, different places. You can have them put in how many miles they travel. And then at the bottom, you just would submit the hour entry and those hours would be approved on the volunteer's end. And then just a few other things. There's a check-in kiosk. So if you wanted to maybe have a laptop or an iPad at the volunteer opportunity, and you wanted folks to just sign in online instead of kind of signing a sign-in sheet, you can launch a check-in kiosk. And this is going to log me out, but it automatically kind of launches this check-in kiosk. And if I have an account, I've signed up for this, I'm already on the list, I can just select that I have an account. I can either enter my phone number, my email address, or my name, and it will automatically, when I go to return to start, it will log me in. And then at the end, you can log them out and it will automatically approve those hours. So again, if it works for you, this could take the place of a sign-in sheet. Now, I know a lot of you need, paper documentation, but it's kind of a cool feature that you may want to use, and you can then track who is in the building and all of that. So that's an optional feature. So that's the kind of the back-end functionality. This piece checked in now. It's logged me out, and so sometimes it's hard to see this, but this, if you do use the check-in kiosk, everybody who's checked in will be listed here so that you can easily just kind of see who's there and who's checked in. So I just have a couple of minutes left, so I'll just show you how you create an agency account real quick. So if you wanted to create an agency account, you would go up here, click here to register your organization, and you would complete all of these fields to create an account on Get Connected. Very straightforward information. It's information you probably have in your head, or what we do and who we are. This is kind of copy paste. It doesn't have to be anything that you create on your own. Just copy and paste that. You can put in any kind of social media that you have. If you have an organization video, you can upload that as well. And then you would request an account. When you would request an account, I get an email that says this different organization has requested an account. I will review it to make sure that it's appropriate. If it is appropriate, I will approve that agency account, and then from there, you would be approved and you can post as many volunteer opportunities as you need. I and Serve Ohio do not have to approve volunteer opportunities. So once your agency is approved, you can start posting volunteer opportunities as you need to and have full access to the back end of the system. So I'm going to pause there, and Josh, let me know, is there anything that I need to cover that I haven't covered?
I think you already went through how to set up a volunteer. If a volunteer wants to log in, how easy that is for them.
Yes, yeah, let me do that. So if I am a volunteer, if I'm an ongoing volunteer with your CERT program that you're trying to get in the system, or if I'm just a new person just looking for opportunities, I would go to this red sign up button. And there is not a lot of information that we ask for. Now, when I have my account, I can go in and put much more robust information in there. But to create an account, all I need is first name, last name, email, zip code, county, and then a password. Let me show you, I will do this very quickly. Let me show you what the volunteer account looks like. And then there's a forgot password button here. So let's say that you or your volunteers forgot their password. That happens automatically. You just hit forgot your password, and then you'll go through kind of that normal process where you get an email and so on and so forth. If one of your volunteers loses their username, then you can go in and see what that username is on your end and kind of send them that username, and then they go through the forgot password process. So I'm going to go, I have multiple levels. So I'm going to go to my volunteer account here. So as a volunteer, this is what it looks like. This is what a volunteer profile looks like. So, you know, there's not much information that you need to just create an account. But once I have an account, I can add all kinds of stuff. I can add what causes that I care about. I can put as many as I want to. I can put in my skills. So there's a list of different skills that I have available that I can say, yeah, I'm good at this. Yes, I can do this, kind of a thing. I can like organizations. So organizations fanned. This just basically means that it's like a Facebook like almost. I like the Serve Ohio page. And so I will automatically get updates on the Serve Ohio page if new opportunities come up, if something changes, anytime anything kind of changes or there's new volunteer opportunities available through the Serve Ohio page, I will automatically get an email of those changes because I have fanned or liked the Serve Ohio page. And so I would encourage you to ask all of your volunteers to kind of fan your page, and that way they'll get automatic updates when you add new volunteer opportunities to the page. But a cool thing here is I can do a volunteer resume. So if I click the volunteer resume page, I can say the date range that I want to go, and let's just leave it defaults at a year. So let's just leave it at the year. And it will download a PDF of my volunteer transcript. So you see, you know, I haven't done much in the past year. I haven't done any volunteer hours. But I've signed up for 20 different volunteer opportunities. So not the best volunteer, but this is just a sample, right? But it actually will say the impact value. We use the independent sector's value of a volunteer hour, which is around $21 and some change for Ohio. So that will automatically calculate that, which is kind of cool. And then it really talks about the skills that I used, how many opportunities that I had signed up for, and then a complete list of all of the volunteer opportunities that I actually did. And then we have these different benchmarks that are, you get a gold badge for 100 hours, you get a silver badge for 50 hours, and then you get a bronze badge for 10 hours. So it's just, I mean, there's nothing behind that other than just kind of a fun thing to give to your volunteer. So this transcript they can use on a regular basis, and you can, have that as documentation. And then one other cool thing, they can upload files. So if they have trainings that they've completed or certificates that they've completed, I know that you have very specific processes for training, but they can upload different files here if they want to keep everything in one place. So you see, I just kind of put in my resume and put that there, but I can add as many files here as I want to keep everything in one place so that it's nice and organized. And then there's, you'll see there's pretty similar information here as the agency profile that I can kind of track, all of my information of everything that I've done on the volunteer side. So that's probably more than you wanted to know about that, but just thought I'd kind of show you what the volunteer side looks like. So, is there anything else that you'd like me to show, or do we want to do any questions or anything, Josh? Just let me know.
Whatever questions are pending. Although there was only one in the chat box and I answered that one. So if there's any other questions, feel free to type them in.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing here. And I'll wait just a couple minutes. I see question, I joined late. Should we go ahead and establish an organization account? Yes. Well, Josh, I'll let you kind of answer that, but I'm going to go ahead. I'll just drop the link in the chat here about where you would go to create a volunteer account, and then I'll let you give some guidance on what you want them to do.
Okay. If any organizations want to start creating accounts, that's fine. I have a couple that I'm going to have trial the process over summer. However, if you do create an account, do not start having your volunteers sign up for it unless you're one of the pilot programs. We don't have the administrative code change yet to allow for this to be the actual repository. So if you start having volunteers sign up here, they won't have coverage yet.
Great. Well, I'm happy to stick around for just a couple more minutes in case there's questions, but I'll turn it back over to you, Josh.
Thank you much. So all of Rebecca's contact information is on the slide. It'll be in the presentation that will be uploaded once it is recorded. That'll probably be sometime next week. So let's go back and touch on the 2019 curriculum in Ohio. Back in January of 2020, I sent out a PDF document of all of the major changes that occurred in the 2019 versus 2012 version of the CERT curriculum. If anyone doesn't have that, I can provide it again. It's a good overview that you can give to your instructors so that they know what the major changes are. A question that's come up pretty regularly: no, your instructors do not have to go through and retake the updated Train the Trainer course, but they do have to be familiar with the updates and the materials. So this could be a way that you can do that quick hip pocket training and get them squared away on that. The second bullet point I expand on here in the next slide: triage in Ohio. The 2019 curriculum removed all instruction on how to conduct triage. However, the training repeatedly references triage and an expectation that CERTs conduct triage efficiently and effectively and will guide their decision making. Seeing as this is a major gap, I am asking that all programs in Ohio continue to teach triage in accordance with or to a higher standard than that of the 2012 curriculum. You can continue to do the triage training in person. You can use the Utah module if you need to. That is the hybrid CERT program. And we want to make sure that we have consistency among programs. If you provide mutual aid to a neighboring agency, they have an expectation that you've all been through the same training. So that is why the triage is going to continue to be required. I also want to make sure that your members are best equipped to make the sound decisions that the curriculum has them making. And absent that training, I think that there is a major gap in the way that FEMA did the 2019 update. So continue to do it and make sure that your CERT members have the opportunity to determine how to ration care should that be a consideration. Any questions, I will be happy to answer those afterwards or offline. Next up, let's jump into some of the FEMA updates. This has been an ongoing delightful experience with the FEMA program registration. If you registered with the old system, your old username and password continues to work in the new system. This is the long URL for it. You can get there from ready.gov/CERT. All programs need to re-register. The old programs were purged from the system back in 2020. That said, multiple state coordinators have, for some reason, had all of their access removed. So I have at least 12 programs that are pending, but I can't get access to the system to be able to approve you guys. This is still being worked on with FEMA, still trying to get some resolution. But as I said, this is a multi-state issue, and I will start approving you guys as soon as I can. One of the things that FEMA is asking for is that programs continue to submit hourly totals every year. This isn't tied to funding the same way that the old Citizen Corps requirements were. However, FEMA is trying to use this to justify a budget line item in the federal budget so that we can show the impact of CERT. This gives them something to bring to Congress and show these are the impacts that CERT programs are having. We need to provide some funding and support for this program. The other advantage to registering your program is that it allows you to request materials for free from the FEMA warehouse. This can be CERT materials to encourage people to sign up for training, overviews of CERT, get your pack ready, the 3 steps for preparedness, or it can get you printed instructor and participant manuals. Bear in mind, the process for requesting manuals is limited to 100 at a time. So while you do need to plan for the future, you are limited to how many you can ask for. And you have a lead time of about 6 to 8 weeks. So it takes a little while for these orders to be fulfilled. Keep that in mind and plan ahead if you do request any. There are also materials available in a handful of other languages, Spanish, Simple Chinese, and I believe Cantonese are ones that are available right now. There may be 1 or 2 others, but you can request those through the form from the FEMA warehouse. CERT typing. I was hoping that I would have an announcement for you guys today. There's a chance that it will be announced this week, but it's supposed to be announced this week, or this month, sorry. The One Responder platform is going to be available for CERT programs that want to use it. FEMA has decided that various positions within CERT are going to be eligible for responder typing. They have position task books that will be available, and the authority having jurisdiction has the ability to sign off and type their members should they decide they want to. That said, there are a lot of authorities having jurisdiction that may not want to provide a credential and typing for their volunteer members. There is currently some discussion between FEMA and the National CERT Association for the National CERT Association to serve as a credentialing body. This will allow volunteers to work on their position task book and collect the education and some of the activities that are necessary, and then potentially annually at the National CERT Conference, participate in a exercise to get the on-the-ground experience that the position task book may require. This may require a couple years of participation to get significant experience to be able to be signed up on it, but that is a potential option. I have yet to decide whether or not we are going to look at CERT typing throughout the state of Ohio. It may be something that you decide to use locally. It may be something that you use if there is an EMAC request requesting CERT volunteers to come down to the Gulf Coast or the West Coast to help with a hurricane or wildfire, respectively. I'm not 100% sure where this is going to go, but there are going to be some opportunities with it. Another item that I do want to bring up on the FEMA update is the K-Series training. K-Series is indicating that it is an online training hosted and offered by FEMA. G-Series is FEMA curriculum offered by the states. The OH series is Ohio curriculum offered in Ohio. The E-Series is FEMA curriculum offered in Emmitsburg. The K iteration is FEMA curriculum offered by FEMA in an online format. The K419 is a new course that has been developed. It is the Shelter Field Operations Guide. It goes through how to set up shelters in accordance with the Red Cross and FEMA Field Operations Guide for shelters. It's a training that has filled up incredibly fast. They did an initial announcement in last month's Individual and Community Preparedness Directorate's newsletter, and these courses filled up within minutes. So right now, as far as I am aware, through December, they are all filled. However, moving forward, it looks like they will continue to offer training specifically for CERT members and for Civil Air Patrol members. Keep an eye on that training as we get into the new fiscal year starting in October on the federal calendar. There is also a pilot right now for the K428 CERT Train the Trainer. This is an opportunity that is available. I will admit, from my perspective, I am a little disappointed in it. I do not think that it provides adequate opportunity for the teach back, and prefer to see this training live and in person so that CERT members have an opportunity to work together within a group, actually demonstrate a skill in person, not on a camera, and be able to receive effective feedback from their cohorts. However, this is a FEMA course. It is acceptable training, and if you want to use it for your trainers, that is an option. Again, the seats are very limited in this, and it fills up quickly. There is some ongoing discussion at FEMA as to how often they will continue to offer the E428, doing the Train the Trainer in Emmitsburg, as opposed to how many they will do with the K series. I believe the current ratio is 5-1. They can do 5 K series trainings for the same cost as one E series course in Emmitsburg due to travel costs, stipend reimbursements, and paying the instructors to come out. So I would anticipate that this is going to be an ongoing thing, just considering FEMA's budget. Moving on from the FEMA updates, let's talk about the National CERT Association. The 2021 CERT conference is happening this week. Today through Wednesday is pre-conference training. Thursday through Saturday will be the actual conference itself. The National CERT Board of Directors has our meeting on Thursday night. A link went out to all NCA members if they want to join that meeting. However, I will tell you that there will not be a lot of opportunities to join it. We are limited to 100 members being present due to the terms of the Zoom account that we have. And when we have 20 Board of Director members, plus 10 observers from FEMA, plus the board leadership and the at-large members, that's already accounting for 50 plus members. So there's not going to be a huge opportunity, but individuals are welcome to try to sign in if they want to. Over the course of the past year and coming into the next few months, the National CERT Association has a number of initiatives that are ongoing. We are working on finalizing the elections process, since we will have elections coming up in September. We are looking at ensuring that the Board of Directors has adequate representation, campus CERT programs, teen CERT programs, programs that are at the county level, programs that are at the local level, state coordination. And we are looking to add some at-large members to the board to better represent volunteers, not just paid employees working at FEMA, at the state, or at the local level. We are working on a CERT newsletter for the country. Good news, bad news? We are still working through a lot of the details on it. What types of columns will be regular? What kind of information we'll be soliciting? What types of content we will be looking for? I am one of the editors for the newsletter. So if we can get Ohio representation, I have no problem with that. I would like for this newsletter to be as representative of CERT programs across the country as possible. That said, just because I'm an editor doesn't mean that I'm going to approve every single Ohio article that comes in, because we do still have to have a balance. Right now, the newsletter will probably be published every other month. We're working on finalizing an editorial calendar. We're going to try to put that out a year in advance so that people can see what types of articles we'll be requesting and what newsletter themes will be, so that you have some time to plan and submit. I already touched on the potential for credentialing for the CERT typing. More information to come from that. We also have a training committee. The training committee is going to be looking at materials, videos, and other instructional techniques that are developed locally with local programs that they may want to share that can be used by other programs around the country. Right now, that is in pilot. Texas is going through. It looks like the system is going to work out pretty well. Keep an eye out. If you have anything that you want to submit, you'll be able to. and it will be vetted and go out nationally. Membership committee, always looking for new members, always trying to bring programs on board and make sure that they have access to the information that is provided. Reminder, there is an opportunity for non-leadership position involvement. All of these committees and work groups that we have, and there are significantly more than the couple that are listed here, has an opportunity for an NCA member to join. If you are an NCA member and you have some desire to serve on the national leadership team or want to be considered as a member of the board of directors, putting in some face time and showing that you are able to work together in the group, on a committee, on a work group, will give you an opportunity to be considered for those positions and be nominated moving forward. Additionally, we continue to do webinars. There are some independently through the training committee, and there are some jointly with FEMA, specifically FEMA Region 2. The next webinar coming up will almost assuredly be in conjunction with FEMA Region 2 as we go through the CERT typing when we roll that out. So keep an eye on those as well. September. It is never too early to start thinking about National Preparedness Month. California started a few years ago doing CERT week as the third week of the month. So this year that'll be 13 through 19 September. Preparing for disasters. I encourage you to go to your local municipalities and your county commissioners and request a declaration for local CERT week. Talk about your activities, what you do. Go out and set up some booths. It's festival season. Get people involved and engaged. You can piggyback on any of the CERT week efforts and FEMA's calendar. The FEMA calendar this year is make a plan, build a kit, prepared for disasters, and teach youth about preparedness. These are a lot of great opportunities for you to get involved with your CERT program for National Preparedness Month. Remember, sharing is caring. I am famous for saying in my classes that we don't plagiarize. We take care in emergency management. We creatively appropriate and repurpose everything. There is no need for you to reinvent the wheel when your colleagues have already done so. Once the NCA committee pilot program is open, Ohio programs can submit original content to be considered and be used nationally. The next Ohio Certainly Prepared newsletter, I need your articles and photos. Monday, the 13th of September will be publication date. If you can get me stuff by mid-August, that would be super helpful. The National CERT Association newsletter, send any of your pitches or articles to newsletter@nationalcert.org. It is especially helpful if you have pictures. If you have pictures, myself or one of the other editors will send you a photo release form that needs to be signed by the program coordinator that you have permission to use those images, and that will be great. Also, the FEMA Individual Communities Preparedness Directorate newsletter that comes out every Sunday. I can only forward on items that I know about. One of the editors for that newsletter is from Cleveland originally and is always excited to see programs from Ohio represented. I know that we've had at least 3 programs in the past year in that national newsletter. Send me stuff if you want it passed up. I make no guarantees on anything, but I will forward it and hopefully we can get some good Ohio representation. And with that, this is the end of the prepared portion. I will be stopping the recording here in a couple moments and allow for everyone to do some Q&A. I thank you for your participation and attention. Remember, this will be posted on the Ohio CERT website Please distribute it to your members, give them an opportunity to stay up to date with what's going on, encourage them to sign up for the NCA newsletter, the ICPD newsletter, and the Ohio Certainly Prepared newsletter. And with that, I hope you all have a good day and be safe out there.